1, 2. I just updated Windows, and for some reason it like resets where all my audio things are, so I didn't realize I wasn't on. Hello, welcome to SquishiVision, where I'm Harris, and I'm about to react to She-Hulk. That laugh was because I laughed genuinely earlier, but now you can't obviously see that that's what the case was. She-Hulk, Ribbit and Ribbit. Just watched the episode now, it's based on my immediate reactions without any chance to kind of like delve into like the nitpicky or the Easter eggs or whatever. That's not what I'm here for, but this is kind of my broad reaction, and that was a fun episode. I mean, it was very much the anticipated Daredevil cameo episode. Yeah, I mean, it's weird to me because I haven't watched Daredevil yet because I'm squeamish and violent, and apparently someone's head gets like squashed in the door. I need to get around to watching it at some point. But you know, I can still appreciate Charlie Cox as Daredevil and the kind of yay fan stuff of that, and how now he's appearing in a lot of things. He's gonna be in this. He was in Spider-Man. He's now in this. He's probably gonna be in Echo, and then he's gonna be in his own show again. So that's a thing. That's a kind of cool thing. Hello, Lily. Yeah. So that was the first law scene in the entire show, which actually felt like a law drama scene, because I mean, and it was brief as well. But that was the only criticism of it. It was pure like law showish kind of whole vibes, where Matt Murdock comes in, basically out lawyers our protagonist, very kind of easily, but obviously he has his advantage of his superhero kind of senses. But even then, he's kind of throwing like legal kind of attacks at her, which was like fun, and she's obviously countering back, and like wasn't like just letting him win, but he was just a better lawyer in the situation. Obviously, he had the better circumstance of the frog guy being like foolish. So yeah, and then obviously because Matt Murdock's just a very nice guy, I guess. Well, I don't know, is he a nice guy? He's probably not. Actually, I think he's kind of dark guy, but he basically was very charming. And I mean, it wasn't just like all like fan service. Like, it would make sense if you're gonna have a law show, you're gonna get the most famous superhero lawyer there is, to appear in it, and that happens. I think it'd be a disservice if he wasn't. But he provides some, crucial like advice to Jennifer. He gives her basically, the final episode kick of you can help people in both things, and that's very Daredevil, because that's his whole thing as well. Like, he tries to help them legally, and if he can't, he then beats them up. So that was cute, and he was he was nice, he was charming, and then we got a nice, decent like kind of Daredevil action bit. We had Daredevil fight She-Hulk, which was actually more him avoiding her for the most part very well and very skillfully, and a lot of very aerobatic stuff, like using the powers to kind of force the attacks, move it away, and use his kind of athletic ability, while she was kind of just trying to chomp him. And it was a fair, like, equally, like, not a match, but like they were using their skills to maneuver each other, and eventually she just gets the kind of slight at top of him in this battle. I guess later on in the episode as well, possibly, depending on who was on top. But it was like, pretty grounded. Like, I didn't feel like Daredevil was overpowered to like be against She-Hulk, and I didn't feel She-Hulk was like weakened to be against Daredevil. They were very kind of using the appropriate abilities, and it makes sense that She-Hulk was to come out on top, and it kind of gets them even because Matt Murdock comes on top legally, and she kind of wins with the physical strength. But he's still a more experienced superhero, even if it was a minute. I was surprised he allowed himself to get his mask taken off so easy. I mean, I'm not sure what else he could do, but surely if that's all it takes, then your disguise thing isn't really that well. I mean, at least some superheroes put like booby traps in something or another, whatever. I guess he's never really come across anyone who has been able to get to that point, and I guess if he was in that situation anyway, a lot of things are lost, but whatever. Oh, that reminds me. I mean, firstly, interesting kind of commentary on secret identity. I mean, apart from Daredevil, I think Daredevil and Spider-Man, I think, are the only heroes who have a secret identity, or had one, and I guess do have one. Most of them don't, but this kind of implies that actually there are loads that we haven't seen before that do. Yes, it's distracting me as well, but it's too late to fix it. Implies there's lots of heroes there who do have secret identities. Also, the Sokovia cards have been repelled. I can't remember if that's actually been established in one of the previous works. I think this might be the first instance I've really remembered, because I've always been like really unsure about how the Sokovia cards work in the MCU. Like, it was a big thing in Civil War, and then it kind of just like wasn't mentioned. It was relatively substantially used, as are most things in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is why Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is still important, and I don't care what everyone else says to me. But like that was it was, you know, finally kind of brought back, and it was established that it was repelled. I can't want more details, like why was it repelled. It feels like now more than ever they would probably want to not repel it, but I guess now superheroes becoming much more kind of common, and Asgardians are living on Asgard and whatever, that might be the reason why they repelled it. But like, it was brought in the context of we can't release people's superhero identities anymore, which is not actually what the original Sokovia cards in this MCU were about. That was the Superhero Registration Act in the original Civil War, but whatever. Which is like the only comic I've actually read. But it's interesting that was kind of brought up. And then we got a really good kind of... And it was nice because, like... And this is why you can have things in fiction where male characters are able to talk over female characters, as long as you're doing it kind of... This show is kind of like proving you can do that, because it shows both a situation where that has happened and it has been mansplaining, and where it hasn't happened, where it has happened and it hasn't been mansplaining. This isn't mansplaining because, you know, we know as the viewer that Daredevil has been around the scene longer, but I do like the bit where like She-Hulk's like never heard of Daredevil because he's relatively still like street level superhero, even in the MCU kind of thing. He's not like a big name, but I guess he was kind of just being really nice and like sincere about it. And then we got a Daredevil corridor hallway fight scene, which I think is a thing from the Daredevil show. I mean, it's definitely in Defenders. I know I've seen like the GIFs and the clips and the images of the hallway fight in Defenders, but I guess it's also I feel, I don't know, I haven't watched it, but I strongly feel that Daredevil bit where he's taken down those goons was probably a homage to that, to the hallway scene, because it seems like a thing that happened in that show. I'm not entirely sure like why he felt that he couldn't coordinate a plan with She-Hulk though, as she clearly wanted to kind of get involved. Wasn't sure also what his kind of plan was. He said he was gonna stealthily take them all down and then let one dude call for backup. I thought his whole thing was don't alert them too early, otherwise they'll hurt. What was his name? Luke. But I guess it wasn't the issue. It was more to the weapons. But then again, what was his concern? I was a bit fuzzy that area, but whatever. And yeah, it kind of culminates in a nice scene where he's beating up goons, she's trying to talk down Frog Guy or whatever his name is, and he's giving her legal kind of advice as she's trying to talk him down, and that's a really cute, funny thing that you can only get in this kind of pairing. And then they sleep together, and I have to admit, the Daredevil walk of shame, it was a funny sight gag. Just the mic really laughed. That was a pretty funny part of that. And then we got a really like long meta bit where she was like, I'm sure the episode, and innuendo meta bit where she was talking about the climax of the episode and referring to her own climax. I don't know why I was pretending to be quiet about that. I'm not quiet about that at all. That's a thing people do or should do. But yeah, she was talking about, you know, in a very meta sense, this episode should be over. Why isn't it over yet? And she's like, oh, is this a like twist for the finale? And like, I just love how self-aware, like as someone who's like really likes meta comedy and like film and stuff and like breaking the fourth wall, I love how it's been used in this series. It's not been over the top, but it's been like in bits, and like the whole kind of build up to that with jokes about, oh, this is a pilot episode, so we need to have that kind of hook, that cliffhanger, and then it goes from that to really, really dark as firstly they give like all of the female lawyers awards, which I'm sure is a commentary on something, and it's probably very on the point. And I like how when asked how does it feel to be a female lawyer, that lawyer kind of puts him down, being like, you get asked the question a lot, and it's like a stupid question, you need to ask men that. And then we get a really like dark, it's dark because it's very real, of She-Hulk being effectively doxxed. Like, her personal data that Josh nicked in the previous episode gets put on a screen. And like, it's really personal stuff being broadcast or to like this whole stage, including her boss, her friends, her family. It's not pleasant to watch, and I don't, you know, it's not a humorous scene, it's very dark, it's very real, and that happens. And then, you know, she understandably kind of punches she screams to like stop all those things happening, and for some reason the other lawyer's like, no, don't do that, as if like it'd be bad. Like, I guess it's how, like, you know, don't let the bad side of you show, but I think in any circumstance you would be reasonable to defend yourself. I mean, this is an assault, it's not physical, but it is an assault. You'd be reasonably, you know, justified to do what you needed to do to prevent something like that from happening. Like, if I was another person, someone was doxing me on a screen behind me, I would absolutely go and try to turn off the screen, pull a plug, break it, whatever, and I think I'd be very justified in doing so, because clearly someone's doing that, you know, it's an assault against me. So I'm not sure why she was like, don't do it, and you know, I'm surprised it took her so long. I guess she was trying to hold some restraint, and I guess it just harks back to her first episode about, you know, being a woman and having to like maintain your anger. And then she spots like some people filming her who she probably crazy clocks on is like part of the bad guys. She chases after them, and then the you know, Department of Damage Control turns up, boo them because they're cops, and tell her to stand down, and that's where the cliffhanger goes, and it was quite a tense situation. So yeah, now next week's the last episode, and I think the pacing, normally by this stage the pacing kind of falls through. Normally the episode sets up loads of new premises which should have been introduced earlier. It feels like we're just doing a whole new story. This has happened in pretty much most of the previous Marvel shows. I think Loki was the only exception to that. Yeah, I think Loki was really the only exception to that. This is the first one where the pacing has been consistent. I think it's helps comedy, so it's mostly been kind of self-contained narrative episodes, not one long one, but still. And I think as long as nothing like completely new and bizarre is introduced next episode. I guess my only critique is the Hulk King is clearly the like series antagonist of this, but we haven't really. But I guess that's fine. That's still a valid way of doing it. Those have shows done before, so I think it's fine. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think this show is going strong, and we'll see where the finale lands. So that's my thoughts on this episode. Let me know what you think, and I think the Mario trailer has. That was my attempt to do a Mario voice, and I kind of failed midway through. I think the Mario trailer has dropped, so I guess I might react to that while I have my streaming setup done, before I go back into writing my final level university essay.